Was Blackpink meant to succeed? Please subscribe. Lol, I didn't know where to post this. It feels like Blackpink, the group, was never about debuting for girls but one. Jennie specifically has used Blackpink to push Jennie's artist/influencer agenda since the birth of Blackpink. Jennie is the only member mentioned in any Blackpink song's Boom Baya, the only member to have her name featured in the music video Sail, the only member to have solo interviews on international/Korean platforms about her as an artist only, even before solo released Billboard, Time, Marie Claire Korea, Vogue Korea, Dazed Korea, etc., is mostly the only member credited during interviews. Coachella documentary in award shows is the member who sings/raps the most, even to the point of taking others' lines. 2017 Seoul Music Awards, Lisa's entire PWF verse was cut from the performance and it was just Jennie's parts, and then Jennie rapped Lisa's line for Boom Baya instead of Lisa. And if you watch the Korean broadcasts of anything, the other girls will be singing/rapping, but the camera only follows Jennie. This is especially when Lisa or Ross are performing, like you can hear their voice but see Jennie's face. On top of her solo promotions being the most in number compared to Blackpink, the group, on their own page, are getting the best outfits. Jisoo stated in an interview Jennie is the one who decides the most with how the members are represented color-wise. The only solo dance choreo on Blackpink's Lisa and Ross hold the dance positions, but where are they? It makes me feel like you've never meant for Blackpink to be about all four members but just about Jennie. Truly, I mean, she has been pushed since 2012. And I just don't get it. Ross is the most, maybe only, musician in that entire group but gets treated even less than an influencer. Forget about her being treated as an artist. Lisa is shown as not having any skill sets outside of dancing, and it irks me because most of the fandom thinks she wouldn't thrive in a solo setting or will just become a dance instructor, when I know Lisa has better flow and delivery than Jennie in rapping, and her vocals are not as bad as you makes it seem. And Jisoo, she used to be able to MC and do music videos, but she is treated even less as a celebrity by her company than Ross is. Even now, with Lisa rising in popularity and you having to promote her even though he's mostly focused on outside of Korea deals since that is Jennie's market, it seems like Jennie is in competition with Lisa in staying Blackpink's most talked about member. It's like every time I see something amazing for Lisa, the next day something Jennie's done will be released. Between Lisa going viral for her legs and her Lila film and Jennie then posting like 59 photos or so in one day, it just really seems like a one-up situation, like with the fashion line. Lisa was supposed to have won, but Jennie released her sunglasses first and is now talking the fashion line too. The difference would be that Lisa would own her fashion line, since Hugh trademarked her real name and owns her stage name, whereas Jennie's name is not owned by Hugh. It's just so odd to me to have Jennie be the only member set to succeed on her own, but I could be reaching. IDK, people who don't see that BP was made to push Jennie only confuse me because all the dots connected makes it seem like the only person who was meant to thrive from Blackpink was Jennie. Hopefully, their new comeback will have the Ross solo and different song formula that is focused on Jennie, and I hope we see Jisoo and Ross having their own complete lines. Otherwise, I see this comeback being their last or second to last, because it will just be the same thing in a different package and the fans will move on. I'm not going to pretend I know shit about Blackpink, but I do agree with you. Jennie seems to always be center and get the most lines. It's really a shame because, as you said, Lisa is not only a strong dancer but also an excellent rapper. I could totally see her coming out with her own line of street fashion. Jennie also always gets the best outfits while the other girls get blah. I mean, they still look great, but Jennie stands out. I can't say I'm super educated on the history of Blackpink, but I will say I think Yuk debuted them partly because he needed a GG desperately after 2NE1 and partly to give Jennie a head start. You can tell a few, if not all, Blackpink songs are basically 2NE1 rejects that they revamped to fit the current state of music. Absolutely no hate to the girls though. If anything, I feel bad for them and hope they all get the career they deserve in the future. This may not sound relevant to the topic, but I just feel like the part of the choreography where the other members have to carry her is so symbolic of the entire situation that you described. You never expected them to succeed, and as you mentioned, it was only to promote Jennie and then ditch the other girls and making her go solo and then debut the new girl group that he is interested in. But they succeed and Yuk is now stuck with a group that he didn't want in the beginning. That is why they have such few songs. Honestly, the way you brought up all these facts and receipts are impressive. I'm starting to agree, as an outsider, as in non-Blink. As a Jennie and Jisoo stan, I don't know what to do. Lol. We don't know her personally, so we'll never know. It's like every time I see something amazing for Lisa, the next day something Jennie's done will be released. Isn't Jennie's parents wealthy or something? Also, if she really has that kind of relevancy compared to Lisa, I don't get why Lisa's full name necessarily needs to be trademarked. Unless this proves the fact that Lisa does spark more interest from GP and this is low sabotage for her if she left you. This is long answer, so be prepared or just don't read it. You've been warned. Yuk has always had two obsession: 1. Created a Yuk version of SNSD, and 2. Branch out into the US. The latter is the obsession of every Korean company, and I get it for the dollar, but it's just an insane thing consuming their business. BP was made to fulfill both. They are a very aesthetic group and their MVS are without a doubt one of the best visually. I'm not going to talk about musically because I think we all know it's not great. They were cultivated for Western audience, which is why there are so many English-speaking members and that infamous rich lived abroad daughter-in-law vibe to all of them. Jennie is the combination Yuk is looking for. Speaks English and Korean fluently, has a classy vibe, and I do believe in the beginning she was fairly talented. Problem is when you give a 20-year-old the world, she's going to become different. I'm not going to say she's 100% lazy, but I do believe she and Yuk see her as the next big solo act to hit the world and gave her too much flexibility. She is some ways is the Asian Kylie/Kendall Jenner. IDK them that well, so don't come for me. I think she'll be fine in the industry, but I personally don't think she'll be as successful just because she's been handed everything from their debut like you mentioned. No one can control this and it's just hard. The cards were drawn. Here's the rub. The best entertainment companies in the world can't predict how the public responds to a group. Not JYP, SM, Yuk, Big Hit, you name it. They can spend years analyzing data, facts, but end of the day each generation changes and they support different trends. Lisa caught Yuk a little off guard because now everyone take a deep breath. They are still not seen as the same level as Koreans in Korea or much of Asia. But dollar is still dollar. I think Lisa is using her fan power, have more opportunity whether it's performance or magazines or CF or whatever. She knows, trust me, she has the most power internationally and she can leverage this a bit against Yuk. She's a bit more savvy than I think people give her credit for. Jisoo is in a bit of a pickle because she may have a strong Korean following but not internationally. She, I believe, wants to be an actress and honestly needs to rely on Yuk to secure that for her. Idols are still idols when it comes to acting. My guess is she'll be the first to leave Yuk when they split to find an acting company who will support her. Rose is also in a pickle because I don't get a really ambitious vibe from her and her future probably lies in being an indie soloist. Yuk doesn't see this as a money maker. With acts like Akmu and Lee Hawaii following low on his radar, she'll need to move companies or be prepared to go back to Australia to release this music.